Faceless After Dark is a brand new 2024 horror film starring the original girl from Terrifier, not Lauren Lavera. This is Jenna Cannell. She's from the first Terrifier. She did make an appearance in the second one, but obviously Lauren is now the big Terrifier girl, but there was a girl before her, and it was Jenna. And so I saw that she was in this, and on the cover it's like her with like a clown mask killer behind her, and I was like, oh, okay, are we kind of trying to do a Terrifier thing here again? Definitely not. As far as the synopsis goes, this is one of those ones where it's like, I'm sure if you saw a trailer, I can only imagine the trailer gives away what this is actually about. The quick synopsis I'll give you that will remain completely twist spoiler free would be that she is a scream queen. She is an actress who starred in some low budget B horror movie that's caught some attention. Sound familiar? This is very reminiscent of like her own career, and that is not surprising since she co-wrote this movie. This is personal. This is her personal experience with this, because she goes to horror cons and you know, everyone comes to see her for this one movie that she made, and yeah, I can see where that comes from. Our main character here, she wants a bigger career. She doesn't seem to understand why she's not getting the roles, why her career is not taking off. She seems to be angry and jealous and whatever. And then a super fan finds out where she lives. Yeah. And things go sideways from there. Overall, yeah, I didn't care for this one. And that's just, mostly it's in the writing. I thought Jenna was good in it. There's a visual choice that they make that is extremely unappealing. Yeah. That really, really made me not enjoy the watching experience. But I really, really didn't like the messaging here. I don't know what this film is trying to say at all.
It's very heavy-handed and very muddled with the messaging. And, you know, definitely since it does seem to have a really personal connection, as far as like the writing goes, you know, I don't know. I do wonder at what's being said in some ways. I don't know. It just kind of gives me a weird feeling. And maybe that's part of the intention, is to try and draw some like awareness of the types of things that scream queens kind of go through, like being so famous for a film that they maybe are not, that's like not what they want to be known for. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, because I'm kind of trying to do it without saying any spoilers, but there's some visual like editing that I really did not like. I thought the performances were fine, and I also just think that my main issue is really with the writing and the storytelling itself, because it just kind of feels like a film that is trying too hard to be deep.
For me, the film is like, and I would never say this otherwise, but the film is like slightly offensive. And I only say that because like I do want to kind of get into like what the film's actually about. You can consider this a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this and you want to just watch the film and come back, we're not going to get into spoilers at the moment. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about what the film's actually about. So if like, I'm no doubt if there's I'm sure in a trailer, it probably tells you exactly what this is about. I just kind of left it a little more spoiler free and twist free. Because I didn't know. And it was like, oh, this is where we're going. What this movie is really about is she fends off her attacker, kills them, and then gets a taste for it. We talked about this a little bit off camera, and I think Kaylee made good points, and I agree. It honestly, like, because it was written by Jenna, because her main success is with a lower budgeted horror film, it kind of feels like it does kind of feel like she's shitting on that experience to a degree. Like, this isn't all I want to be known for, and these horror fans are kind of fucking weirdos who stalk me and are weird, and all they care about is this one fucking stupid movie I made. That's how it comes off. Because there's no real interaction with, like, fans that she likes, or her praise for like her experience on set with that, or like I don't know. It's like she's making this movie, and it's like Terrifier wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
And
it's still like sorry, but like there's a bitterness to it, I think, is maybe what you're trying to say. And, Terrifier is this kind of like, not that she has to love the films or anything, but there's been like a huge resurgence for like hardcore slasher films, like with the second installment being so popular too. And I do just want to say, because like we were saying that like it's so personal, it feels like there's all these connections and stuff to maybe what like her real life is in a way. I don't know if she's had like a really negative interaction with a fan.
Yeah.
Like, so if that's the case, like and this is kind of,
or if her career has been stilted because of her making Terrifier.
Yeah. And it's totally fine to, like, you can make a movie about whatever, right? Like, you can express
however you want.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's just from a storytelling standpoint, and from like as an audience, like, who love horror movies and who watch Terrifier and love Terrifier, and kind of seeing this now, it is a weird experience, especially because like we and so many people that I think we both know, like online, aren't like psycho crazy fans. Like there's such a love for the genre. It's weird. I think any kind of fandom has an impact on, or any group of people that come together for some type of media, like there's an impact that it has on their life, and that's why they connect with it. But anyway, sorry, because I know you were saying some other things.
The reason it's offensive to me, like slightly offensive, I'm not a pussy, I can handle it, it's not that, it's just kind of like it's more annoying, I guess, than anything, is like you're depending on us horror fans to watch this movie because that's the audience you're going after. So it's like you're making a movie within that genre, right? You're still making a low-budget slasher, appealing to them through your name on Terrifier, to kind of shit on the people who like Terrifier and come to your cons and worship you. So it just feels like
it is. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's odd.
It doesn't sit right while watching it, and that might not be their intention, or maybe it is. I don't want to speak for Jenna. I don't want to speak for anyone. I'm just going to tell you how us horror fans took it, but that doesn't mean we're going to be like everyone else. Maybe everyone will also watch this and be like, what the hell are you talking about? That is 100% how I took it, and how you took it as well. I
just found it to be like very confusing. Like, I didn't really know, like you had said, what the motivations are. I have no clue. Like what the motivations are, because there is, and this is definitely like spoiler territory. So obviously, like, if you haven't seen it and you're still here and you don't want to be spoiled, like, go watch it. But there's people that she kills because they're super fans and because they're like horny guys or whatever, like they want her. And then there's other people that she kills that like aren't connected to it. So it's like you had said, they're sort of going for this like vigilante type of thing that I just feel does not land at all. And then they also try to go for, well, she's just sort of crazy. Like, she just like the stress of being mildly famous and like being online and the world that we live in, because that's like part of the editing visual thing that I mentioned. I really don't like. I thought that it looked bad. I thought that it was like visually unappealing, but I also feel like it was really lazy storytelling to kind of show like flashing images from online sources of like war and social media and dick pics or like whatever. And I get it, because like that is an overwhelming thing that we face as like in the modern world, but it just felt like there's too much going on. Like the vigilante stuff, that stuff, and then also like the like anger and resentment about being a scream queen. Yeah. And dealing with like crazy fans. I don't know.
I mean, if we're talking about spoilers, the second person she kills, it's some horny dude who's contacting her, and that's lame for sure. And those kinds of
he's harassing her.
And it's definitely like it's in how you present things. Yeah. This can work. I Blame Society is a perfect example.
Yeah.
She's fucking nuts. I don't agree with what she's doing at all, but I buy it. And I buy into it. I buy that she buys it. This one just feels very confused. It's like the jump isn't organic.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It doesn't, like, I don't feel like she goes from just like upset about her girlfriend and she's home alone drunk to there's a guy in her house and she kills him and then she gets off on it. And then she goes and watches the... See, like, it would have been more interesting to explore this idea of, like, I thought these guys were sickos, but now I'm a sicko, and I feel like a hypocrite. And you start hating yourself because you're like, I thought these guys were fucking weirdos for liking this stuff. There's no commentary there. There's no, like, interesting banter back and forth. It's just... It's very, like, grandstanding and preachy, like you had said, and like her second kill to lure him over and then to hit him over the head and then to try to like cover it up as like vigilante by her going through his phone and being like, I'm a little older than the girls you usually go for, you know, obviously indicating that he's like a pedophile or something. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't know that when you lured him over. You didn't know that before you hit him over the head and went through his fucking phone. Like, you can't try to play that card now. It's too late. And it makes you look like the fucking psycho. But then the movie ends with her like inspiring another girl to go kill, and she's like smiling at the camera like, oh yeah, you go get him, girl, because the guy on the radio is like, women should know their place.
Yeah,
and it's like
okay,
so just kill people you disagree with, like, this is where we're going with this now. So, like, toxic men all should die. What are we saying? Like, what is this? I genuinely don't understand what the message of the movie is. I'm honestly asking. Like, I don't get it.
I don't think that you need...
Because I'm a man and I'm stupid.
Yeah, let me mansplain to you. I don't think that you need a reason to kill people in horror movies, first of all. But I think...
I need to buy it.
You do need to buy it. But I think that the attempt to make her character... kind of like an anti-hero in some ways and relatable, I do feel like that is like misused, because I think that, like, for example, you know, a big critique of the horror genre is that there's tons of movies that have, you know, exploited women and really glorify like violence towards women. Like, that's a huge criticism, and I think it's valid. So I think, like, in a film that tries to maybe turn the table on that, and like, because 3 out of the 4 people that she kills are men, I think that you can still do that. Like, you don't have to, like, they can be objectified and killed. Like, one of the kills, like, you know, there's some mutilation done and such. But I think that because there are like multiple motives for why she's doing what she's doing, and as you had already said, the switch into her like having that psychotic break didn't feel organic. It just kind of comes across as very forced, which you also already said. And it just has really heavy-handed messaging behind it, and it feels very like vicarious, like, this is what I want to do to people, but I would never do, but like as an artist, and like to make, like, to vent my emotions, like, this is how I feel. Like, I wish I could, you know, maybe not wish, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Like, it, as a work of art, like, to be trying to process those feelings of anger and violence and whatever, which I get.
But it's not just heavy-handed, it's also, in contrast, hollow. That's why it feels so confusing.
Yeah.
Is because it's like, how are you heavy-handed, but I also don't know what the fuck you're trying to say? The other problem, as far as the mixed messaging goes, is that she lures some chick over to her house because she is a Christian who, like, thinks her girlfriend is disgusting for posting like half nude pictures. Who gives a fuck? She's cyberbullying and stuff, which that's what I mean. Like, I'm fine. Like, if that had been her whole like gimmick from the beginning of like, she was getting so much like vitriol and like horny guys, and like, I guess it kind of is supposed to be what she goes after. Like, after that first kill,
which is just somebody coming to her house and then she kills him. Everybody else, it's like this guy that's calling her and stalking her online, and then like the political guy that's like messaging her online, and then it's like this woman who's harassing her girlfriend online.
Yeah.
So she does like pivot completely into like this online space of like, let me now enact revenge on these people.
Yeah, the way you would have handled like the religious chick is earlier in the film, there could have been some discussion about the online hatred that she's starting to get because of this and that. And, you know, maybe she was working on a movie where her image had to be sold as like sex appeal to men. And so therefore she didn't want to come out about their, because they kind of play around with that they're hiding their homosexuality.
Yeah.
Right? Where like the driver comes up and she's like, oh, this is just my friend. And then when she like tries to kiss her goodbye or like walks away and she's like, I love you. And she doesn't say anything. Yeah. It's like very subtle. So, you know, if we could have gotten more into what's driving this breakdown, if you could have had more scenes with her being like upset about what's going on. Like it was, as I said, like, we can't be together because of people like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
And my career hasn't taken off because of fucking assholes like you.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
yeah. So if
so
you're
the
gonna have it be like
dialogue and the
everything,
discourse between her and her victims should have been much more fleshed out.
Yeah.
Like she just kind of kills them. And she says like a couple things. And it's like, it feels so inauthentic to the moment because it's just like so convenient and like not deep at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, if they had set up the frustrations that she was feeling that each of the victims symbolized or represented, it would have worked better, and you can definitely still have them be the way that they are. Yeah. So
anyway, we spent way too much time on this one. Faceless After Dark, not a recommendation unless you're a big fan of this actress and want to see something she made and wrote. You know, check it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's our opinion.
Yeah.
So, see you in the comments. Bye.
Bye.
Don't kill me for my opinion.